Hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of God Concept Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Pagan. How you guys doing out there today? It's enjoying the day, man. It's enjoying the day, man. The weather is beautiful. Um, Yesterday, I created a commercial for my book, The Course of My Life, and it came out okay. I'm getting better and better at, the whole making commercials and the whole promotion, aspect of running a brand and everything. So what I did was, you know, just put together a quick commercial. To be honest with you, I got to get more fucking pictures because I don't got enough pictures to really, put out there for my commercial. So it's a bunch of filler and stuff like that. But check it out. You know what I mean? Like it, share it, do what I do with it. You know what I mean? Help me promote. You know what I mean? If you like what I do, if you read any of my literature, if you like my literature or anything, feel free to promote. You know what I mean? Send that book, share that podcast, share that music, share that video, whatever you like of mine. Cause that's what I'm noticing. That's all it's really about. All of it is about monetization. How can you monetize your time? How can you monetize your day? How can you monetize your talent? You know what I mean? What can you do that somebody will pay you to do, whether that's making clothes, whether that's singing, whether that's writing a book, whether that's, doing a podcast, whatever it is, whatever you have the talent and the time to do in the day, that's what you monetize. And that's what, you know what I mean? That's what it's all about. You know, everything is about that energy getting drawn towards you. It's like, earlier today, right? Not earlier today. What the fuck am I talking about? A few minutes ago, right? I'm sitting here thinking, well, I did my running around. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, what the fuck am I going to talk about today on my podcast? You know what I mean? And just like that, I came up with that concept, just sitting here talking. But before that, my concept was, well, not my concept, my idea was, let me go to social media and see what they're talking about. It's like, why do I give a fuck what somebody else is talking about, what somebody else's concept is? But not in that way. I just wanted to see basically, what's new in the world. Do we got any breaking news? What's going on out here? You know what I mean? I'm out here. I'm living my 24 hours just like everybody else. You know what I mean? And another thing I'm witnessing too is throughout this Diddy scandal, right? Throughout P Diddy, mania, whatever the fuck is going on with him and his trial and the baby oil and this case and that case. There's a term being thrown around called House of Cards. The House of Cards is burning down. A lot of people said the House of Cards is burning down. House of Cards is falling down. This and that. I heard Ray J say it. I heard a couple different people say it. It's ironic that I just came out with a song called House of Cards right before all of this stuff unfolded and unpacked. You know, music video and everything is out. You know, we live in a world and everything is in tandem. We all living in this life together. Same 24 hours in a day and everything, but all of our realities are different. You know what I mean? That's what differentiates our day. That's what differentiates. Well, that's not what differentiates, but you know, based upon your atmosphere, where you're born at, what family you're born into, and things like that, you know, you get a different life. That's the only thing that's different. But all of us have the same time. I don't know if I said that right or not, but whatever. You know, it's just about what you do at that time. How do you utilize it, how you optimize it, how you use your resources around you. You know what I mean? What's of value to you? What do you get, in return? You know what I mean? You're trading your time, your energy for what? For, money, for, the material things that you buy with money. What are you going to buy with the money that you get? Especially when you're getting so little of it. Like when you're out here and you're living an everyday life, you know what I mean? You have a regular 9 to 5 job or whatever the case may be, and you're not making much at all. You got to really think about what you're going to spend your money on, whether you're going to spend that money or save that money, whether you're going to build something with that money and try to have it, help you build a brand that you already starting, whatever the case may be. You know, that's the, I'm on multiple journeys at one time, right? Now, now I'm on multiple journeys at one time, physically, mentally, and spiritually. But all of these journeys are being lived through this life, right? Through my physical life. So I'm on a spiritual journey and I'm physically walking through that physical journey, right? I mean, that spiritual journey. I'm on a mental journey, right? And I'm physically walking through that mental journey. Any journey that I'm going through, any lesson that I have to learn, any question that I have to ask is being done through the physical. It's the same with all of you. You know what I mean? It's the same with all of you. A lot of people don't perceive that. You know what I mean? It's like in life you have a bunch of battles, right? All of us walking around out here today, we have a battle to face, right? Life has given us some type of challenge, right? Physically. And physically, you may have multiple challenges, right? Physically, you may see 5 challenges in front of you, but physically, you can't see that those 5 challenges is going to be is going to get you're going to be able to complete those 5 challenges through mental strengthening, through spiritual strengthening, through learning something, through going through a journey spiritually, mentally, and physically. You know, and that's the thing. A lot of us look at physical problems. We look at physical answers for physical problems a lot of times, and sometimes that's the problem. Sometimes you don't have a physical answer for a physical problem. Sometimes the answer for a physical problem that you're having is mental. Sometimes you have to mentally figure out a physical problem, right? Even when it comes to an athlete, when you're trying to figure out how to do some type of, you know, pull off some type of move or anything, all the moves are figured out for you to do physically, mentally. You have to think about these moves. You have to practice these moves. They have to become muscle memory. You have to have the spirit to pull off these moves. So a lot of the challenges that we have physically is solved through the mental and through the spirit. So a lot of the challenges that we have will automatically go away. A lot of the hurdles that we have in our life will automatically go away once we learn about ourselves spiritually, once we, have the mental fortitude to think outside of any negativity, to think within ourselves, to think, highly of our situation and where we want to go, to project thoughts of where we want to be in our life. That's basically, what I mean, what it is out here. You know, I was looking at a bunch of documentaries, a bunch of YouTube podcasts, things like that, you know, for the information and to hone my own craft because I'm doing a podcast, obviously, right? So I'm looking at other podcasts for the information to hone my own craft, to self-criticizing myself, if you will, like looking at these podcasts, like what can I do better? What can I gain from watching these videos and these podcasts and these documentaries of whatever? What can I take from this to make me better in whatever I'm doing? You know what I mean? Whether that's a podcast, whether that's spiritually, whether that's spiritual growth, whether that's mental growth in any avenue of my life. How can this make me better? Whether I'm sitting there training and I'm physically doing something that I'm watching on YouTube. You know what I mean? That I watch the tutorial or I'm taking some type of advice or some type of pointers from a video to do something physically. You know what I mean? And that's 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 why I do it. Because hopefully somebody can watch this and take something positive from it as well. You know, don't mind me. I went off track a little bit because I'm saying don't mind me. Y'all don't mind. Y'all fucking watching it. But yeah, yeah, I was being a bit distracted because I'm watching my environment. I'm the type of person I have to watch my environment when something's going on. When I'm noticing things moving around my environment, even if it's just children, dogs, other people, things of that nature. I have to be aware of my environment. You know what I mean? Because I've been through a lot. In one of my other episodes of my podcast, spoken with PTSD and how a lot of us got it because we all go through situations in our life. I've been through some rough shit. I've been through some shit that it's hard to even think about. You know what I mean? So that's why I hate that I have to live like that. I hate that I hate the fact that I have to live in a manner where I gotta look over my shoulder when I'm just relaxing in the park. I hate the fact that I feel like that. Even though I don't. Even though there's no danger around, I don't see nothing falling from the sky or anything. It's just people's family, it's just, other people in my atmosphere and it's just um I don't know. It gets hard to really focus on what I'm doing when other people is in my atmosphere, you know. But it's cool though, because all of this makes good practice for whatever it is. I'm gonna tell you something else I've been practicing: trying to sing seriously in front of other people, trying to do whatever it is that I'm doing in life, trying to do it in front of other people. And it's a hard feat to accomplish. It's something hard to really do. You know what I mean? To really focus on what it is you're trying to do and your craft, whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's a podcast, whether it's making music, whether it's writing a book or anything. It's hard to really develop the skill to do what it is that you're doing around others, to perfect your craft or to hone your craft around others is a feat that's I take my hat off to artists that make music in a live environment. You know the pressure that is? Like, I mean, a lot of people don't even think about it, but that's a lot of pressure to sit there and make music in a live environment. That's a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? To write a book, you know what I mean? And to maintain that train of thought while you're writing a book, while somebody else is there watching you writing this book, or while somebody else is there doing something other than you writing the book, right? I can see if somebody else is there and they're actually participating in the activity that you're doing and what you're creating. You know what I mean? You're writing a book, they're the co-author or something like that. They're giving you tips and, structuring sentences and, proofreading and things like that. But if they're there and they're not a part of what you're doing, if they're there while you're writing a book and they're trying to get a burger or something, or they're trying to tell you about their day at the club, their night at the club, or they're trying to tell you about their day at work or whatever the case may be, that is a feat in itself to have that type of focus. You know what I mean? sitting there trying to make music and somebody's phone is ringing, somebody on their phone, somebody's having side conversations, somebody's arguing with you because there's a lot of people that make music at the house. You know what I mean? I heard that I seen that interview with the baby where he said he made music at the house, and I take my hat off to him to be able to, and that's kind of what I'm doing, talking about the multitasking and everything too. But to be able to make music in a chaotic atmosphere, to be able to do anything in a chaotic atmosphere, even if it's not chaotic, even if it's mellow or it's chill, it's a feat. People don't realize that. And, the things that you want to do with your life, whether you're making music, podcasts, or writing books. And I keep using these examples because these are things that I'm doing. So don't get, shot out or burnt out with my examples that I'm using because these are things that I'm doing. I'm walking through the life of somebody trying to create. No, not trying to create. I'm walking through the life of somebody creating podcasts. I'm walking through the life of somebody creating music. I'm walking through the life of somebody writing books. And I understand how challenging it is to try to create in an atmosphere that's not yours. In an atmosphere, either you're living with somebody, either you're somewhere where there's an unknown distraction coming. It's like anything can happen at any moment. It's like me doing this podcast right now in the park, right? Anything can happen right now. Anything can happen right now, and I have to be okay with that. I have to continue to record my podcast no matter what the conditions are. Or maybe, the podcast will become a news outlet basically if something happens. Because basically I could turn the camera on, turn it around. Hey, this is happening right now. This is Mr. Pagan live on the scene of such and such that's happening right now in the middle of downtown. And this is it. The possibilities are endless. The possibilities are endless. So, I just take my hat off to that because it's hard to do, especially if it's not your atmosphere. It's different when it's your atmosphere and you're creating and there's other things going on. You have to you have to be connected to what you're doing. If you're gonna do it that way, if you're doing it that way and you're doing it live and you're doing it even in the midst of interruptions, you still creating what you want to create. You know what I mean? Still getting what you want to get out of, creating what it is that you know what I mean? Your reality is like amazing. You have to have mental fortitude for that. You have to have spiritual fortitude for that. You got to be in tune with yourself more than anything in the world, and you cannot be distracted. Don't get me wrong, we all get distracted. That's why they come up with things to buy, new ways for you to buy shit and everything like that, because that's distraction. Anything you spending your money on is something that distracted you at one point in time. Even if you spending on, even if you spending money on medicine to fix something in your body that's going wrong with you, that's a distraction. Because if you wouldn't have did something so much, or if you wasn't stressed out, or if you wasn't, abusing drugs at one point in time in your life, if you wasn't abusing people at one point in time in your life, if you just wasn't, if you was taking care of yourself better at one point in time in your life, you wouldn't even need the medicines that you have to have. You wouldn't have the conditions that you have to need certain things if you wasn't abusing substances and things like this. So all of it is a distraction. The people, the places, the things. All of it is distraction. I'm not saying it's not a good distraction at times. At times it's a good distraction, at times it's a bad distraction. You gotta take the bitter with the sweet, the good with the bad, you know. But it's all a distraction. It's ultimately It's ultimately all about you making it through life, doing the things that you want to do in life while learning at the same time. And understanding that some situations going to take you down a path that's just, you know, very, very difficult and very hard. But when you get on that path, you got to stay strong and walk through it. Walk, ride, skip, crawl, however the fuck you got to do it, you got to get through it. Bottom line. I'm sitting up here, you know, thinking about the ways I'm going to build my LLC. I'm sitting up here thinking about the ways I'm going to really build my LLC and have it flourish. This is my first LLC I ever had. It's my first time ever really talking about it, you know, on my podcast. I mean, I mentioned it a few times, but never really talked about it. But I want this LLC to build and be something that's substantial to my family. You know what I mean? I want this to be a chapter that's, filled with gains, prosperity, health, and wealth, and peace. You know? So right now, I'm just, taking my own crash courses in, how to incorporate my brand, my business, and what I'm doing into my LLC and incorporate merchandise, clothing and things like that. Of course, my literature, my podcast, my music, and just roll it into one LLC. So any gains that I'm having, and I'm just thinking out loud here on my podcast. So any gains that I have from making money from music, books, or my podcast will be funneled to my LLC, to my LLC business account. That way, you know, that way I could see growth. You know what I mean? That way I could get my grants, my loans, and things like that. That way I could build this brand, this business, this LLC to something that could sustain, you know, me and my family. That's ultimately what it's about. It's about growing something that's going to sustain me and my family at the end of the day. Oh, and before I forget, you know, I do this once in a while. Once in a while, in the middle of my podcast, I shoot a little clip of, a review, in between, in the middle of the podcast review, if you will, right? And this, in between the podcast review, right, for my vaping family out there, it's a disposable vape device, right? It's called High Exotic Zombie OG, right? 3 grams, live resin, indica, trapped out, Jeffrey, THCA sugar, 3,000 milligrams, plus THCP and Delta 9. I don't know if y'all can see that. That thing hit. That thing hit. It tastes good. It got a sweet aroma to it, a very sweet, dank aroma to it, man. Um, I've been puffing on it for a few, and man, it's it's good. It is what it is. Zombie OG, the zombie OG. You see it, the zombie OG. You see, he iced out right there. He got the little gold chain on, the little rope pendant on him and all that. Yeah, that's fire. That's fire. I'm telling you, this is banging. This is a good disposable. It has like a citrus taste to it as well. It has like a nice citrus, sugary. Like if you was getting them little orange slices, them little sugar orange slices. It tastes like if somebody made a Turk version of them orange slices or something like that. Zombie OG. Very sweet. It hit nice. It hit different. It hit different. This ain't it. This the lost vape. This a regular vape, nicotine vape. But that's all I do for real, for real. You know what I mean? I'll go grab a cup of wine. I'll even have I have my vape. I have my THC vape, a nicotine vape, a cup of wine. I don't do too much. I'm gonna put it to you like that. I don't do too much. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get somewhere. I try to keep, you know, me spending money on a lot of different things to the minimum. You know what I mean? I try to stay below the radar as possible because I got a whole lot of figuring out to do. You know, I'm not going to splurge on anything and really jump out there and try to be flashy and buy new clothes and try to get a car, try to do this and try to do that if my finance ain't right. I still got a bunch of struggles ahead of me. You know what I mean? I opened up an LLC. I spent money on that. Um, I got to open up a bank account. I got to spend money on that. I got to spend money on a lot of things. You know what I mean? All I try to do is get something to help give me some relaxation. And I ain't talking about no, you know what I mean? No sexual relaxation. Because I'm not looking for a woman. I'm not out here. I'm just on my goal. I'm on my plan. So I buy my little THC vape. I buy my little, you know what I mean? My nicotine vape. That's about it. I spend my money on strictly business. My children, myself, and strictly business things. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to build that discipline because I'm a gamer. You know what I mean? I'm a consumer. I'm a natural born consumer, like many of us are. You know what I mean? I'm a natural born consumer. So it's like, it's just naturally in me to want to see these commercials because that's how it's built anyway out here. It's built around, everything is built around consumption. You know what I mean? You buying something. You got to become a seller. You know what I mean? You got to sell yourself. That's what I'm doing now. But it's like, I'm into video games. I'm into this. I'm into that. I'm into the vape world. I'm into this. I'm into that. I got so many hobbies. I'm constantly consuming. I'm trying to cut back the things that I consume. I'm trying to cut back the things that I buy. I try to help my children do the same thing. That way they can save whatever money that they have and set it to the side than constantly buying things that's not going to last you. You know what I mean? If you put up that money, you could have enough money to amount to enough where you can actually start something with. You can actually start something that's going to be a money grower than a money slower. You understand? Than have money slowing or not coming in at all. You know what I mean? You have to. I'm getting into that. You know what I mean? That's where my head is at. Growth spiritually, growth mentally, growth physically, and to understand that the only way that I'm going to grow physically is by having those resources that I have to build. I have to build my own resources. I have to get myself out of conundrums that I've been placed in. And that's not to shy away from the fact that I did wrong things, that I made mistakes in my past, like we all had. But, you know, a lot of us get placed in fucked up situations. A lot of us, get placed in situations to see how we're going to figure out a way out of these situations, or see how we're going to move in spite of our situation, or how we're going to move in order to resolve our situation. So it's all about learning and growth, man. I mean, for me anyway. Maybe not for y'all. I mean, if you watching my podcast, I assume that it's about learning and growth for you, or just being about newsy. It could just be about being newsy. I don't know. Maybe you watching me just to see what I'm going through in my life. You know what I mean? I thought I seen somebody over there I know. No, that ain't him. I thought that was somebody I know. I thought that was this old head I know named Reggie. Cool brother, good brother. Yeah, but man, I don't really got too much more to lay on y'all. Just wanted to come out here and talk about, share my mind, share my thoughts. I hope that y'all are doing well. I hope that this podcast, don't fall on deaf ears. I hope everybody out there listening, just control your atmosphere. Stay aware. Get in tune with yourself, man. Stay in tap with yourself. Don't ever allow yourself to get so invested in somebody else that you're not taking care of or paying attention to your star player, which is always you. You know what I mean? I can't really say too much past that. I can't really, like what else is there to say? What else is there to do? Pay attention to your star player. Don't ever invest in somebody else more than what you're willing to give up. You know what I mean? Because if you're willing to give up your life for somebody, you know what I mean, that ride or die thing, you know what I mean, then that's what you'll end up giving up. Literally your life. You know what I mean? The only ones I'm willing to give up my life for is family. You know what I mean? The one that I built. You know what I mean? My children. Before was, you know, it was more than just family, but now it's just about family. It's about legacy. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I'm willing to give up my life for. My belief system. My theocracy. That's why I move the way I move. Even even in the midst of everything that I'm going through, I move the way I move because I trust in me. I believe in me. I got that mental fortitude. I got that spiritual fortitude. I'm trying to wrangle my mental and my physical fortitude. I mean, my mental and my spiritual fortitude. I'm trying to bring those into the physical. You know what I mean? And me bringing my mental fortitude and my spiritual fortitude into the physical is causing me to walk that path of following my following my calling. It's calling me to follow my calling. A lot of people don't understand that when you following your calling, you're gonna get introduced to some situations that you're not used to. Especially if you never was living in your purpose. If you never was living in your purpose or following your calling, you're gonna find yourself doing a lot of things that you're not comfortable with doing, that you never did before. Because you following a calling that you never followed before. Something's calling you in a different direction in life that you never took. You never took this direction. You never been on this street, on this avenue. All of this is new to you. You know, it's new real estate, it's new land, it's new turf. That's what it is. You know, that's what it is to a lot of us. Until we adjust, we adapt, we realign, and we reassess what it is that we have to do with our life, and you know, um, where we're meant to be. You know, and you're never going to stop until you get there. You know, it's one thing when you recognize that calling, when you see that calling on your life, you know, and it's not on your life, it's your soul calling, your passion, what it is that you was meant to do with your life. When you recognize that, you're not going to stop moving in that direction. You can't stop moving in that direction. You can't stop. It's something that, it's a force. It's a force there that's pulling you. It'll drag you through everything you ever been through. It'll drag you through the dirt. It'll drag you out of a comfortable place. Your calling will drag you out of a comfortable place in your life down to nothing, right? Drag you all the way through nothing, through all of that hell, through all of that pain, through all of that hurt. Back up to just building up and becoming something different. And sometimes we ain't even had to go through all that. Sometimes it's the fact that we put up a resistance to what it was that we were supposed to do with our life. We put up a resistance to the calling that we have in life. And that resistance causes us to go through the hardships, the trials, the tribulations, the pain, the agony, the this, the that. When if we didn't put up so much of a resistance to our own calling in life, our transition would have been a lot easier. The transition to that new position in life would have been done a lot simpler, a lot more flawlessly. You know what I mean? You would have got there, you know, a lot more effortlessly if you would have chose to follow your calling before you followed something else, before you followed your own understanding. And a lot of us are out here like that. We're following our own, we're leaning on our own beliefs a lot of times. We're not leaning on the things that we learn, the things that you know, we're not leaning on the unseen. We're leaning on the seen a lot of times. You get physical hints to what it is that you're meant to do. You get physical hints. You know what I mean? You know how some people see license plates and they see lottery numbers. You know, how some people they have a dream and they'll look it up and see what that dream means or what the dream number is tied to. You know what I mean? Because they got numbers for dreams and everything, and it's like people are looking for physical signs, physical things that's that physical signs that's showing what's going on in the spiritual and the mental. That's what it is a lot of times. We're looking for signs to show us exactly what it is. You know what I mean? Give us signs to what it is we're supposed to do, whether your creator wants you to move now, whether your creator wants you to stay still, whether your creator wants you to be silent, whether your creator wants you to speak up about a situation, whether your creator wants you to do more, whether he wants you to change lanes and switch gears and get into doing something else, whether your creator wants you to be more at home with your family, whether your creator wants you to be, a single person or a married person. You can't resist the changes that's happening in your life. You can't resist the changes that's going to happen in your life. You got to negate all the bullshit that's going on in your life. You got to be willing to give up the material things that's in your life. You got to be willing to walk out on it all. You got to be willing to walk out on it all and say, fuck all the material things. Fuck the games. Fuck the guns. Fuck the comfortable ability. Fuck the sex. Fuck the this, the that. Fuck all of that. Whatever was, you know what I mean? Fuck the clothes. Fuck the jewelry. Fuck the all of that shit. You gotta be willing to say and just give it all up and just understand that you can obtain it all again. You gave it all up because you knew that there was greater to be had. You gave it all up because you knew that there was greater to be had down the road. When you gave up all your worldly possessions, when you know, let the Creator guide you in that way, man. When you let the Creator guide you to your calling, there's greater to be had. You don't need it right now. If it was meant for you to give it up and you resisting giving it up, just give it up. You will have more later. You will get it back later. The test is in you giving it up, being willing to give up everything, being able to be uncomfortable and put into a vulnerable position. A lot of you are scared to be put in a vulnerable position. And I know I was supposed to be ending this podcast, but something just gave me the feeling to speak on this. But a lot of you have been, are scared to be put in a vulnerable position. A lot of you, even myself, get nervous when you find yourself in a vulnerable position. I hate being vulnerable. I hate it. It's hard to be comfortable there. But I'm getting used to being vulnerable. I always touted myself as being a person who wear their heart on their sleeve and would tell you exactly what's going on, and I'm really not that person. I really don't like asking for help. I really love having my own. I really don't wear my heart on my sleeves because yeah, I'm an open book to some extent, but I'm learning to be more open. I'm learning to be opener, more open, and being more expressive about what I feel. I'm learning how to be more open about what I feel, man. You know, it's a growing thing. It's a learning process. Got to be open about what I feel. I got to be open about what I'm doing. Some things I keep to myself until I manifest. But, situations that's already here, that's already going on, that I need help with, that I'm trying to make it through, that I'm, you know what I mean, that I'm working things out. I got to be more open about that. Got to be open, got to be honest, not to just others, to myself, because being honest to others is being honest to yourself. How can you truly say you're being honest to yourself if you just telling people bullshit and lies, putting up a facade? This battery about to die, so I'm definitely about to end this podcast. But man, I appreciate all y'all listening, man. For real, I appreciate all y'all listening. Listen, man, if you can, it's free. It's free to do it. Subscribe and like. If you watch my podcast, just subscribe and like. It's free for you to do. It's a help for me. It makes my day. You know what I mean? It helps me know that my words are not just landing on deaf ears. Not only that, it helps me out. It helps me grow my podcast and help me gain this monetization. It helps me in my business. For you just to like the video and subscribe. I don't ask for too much. Just like the video and subscribe. You know what I mean? Just like the video and subscribe. That's all I can say. If you appreciate any music, if you appreciate anything, just like and subscribe. Because it helps content creators out a lot. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm creating content. Something for people to enjoy, not only to enjoy, but to learn from, to grow from. Because we all learning and growing together, man. So help me grow. Help me grow. All you got to do is like, subscribe. I'm going to be coming out with new content. And if anything, it's just a new connection that we have. You can put any comments you want down below. I appreciate it all. Show some love. show some hate, whatever it is. I'd rather the love than the hate. I really don't like negativity. But man, like, share, and subscribe. That's all I'm saying. Like, share, and subscribe. Help me get monetized. Help me achieve my goals. You know, a lot of what I'm doing is based on you out there. You, the viewers, the people who's watching, the people I'm talking to. It's you, the viewers. If you out there viewing me and you watching my content, just like and subscribe. It's free. You know what I mean? Unless you a hater. Unless you hating or something like that, like Math Hoffa say over there on my expert opinion. You know what I mean? It don't cost nothing. Unless you's a hater. You know what I mean? It don't cost you nothing to like and subscribe. Just drop the like. You know what I mean? It helps me out. Because I'm trying to grow. This is not just something I'm doing for fun, for play. This is something I'm doing to grow, to monetize. You know, along with music, along with my literature, my books and everything like that. This podcast is definitely going towards something. You know what I mean? It's not a fly by night thing. This thing is going to be here. As long as I'm here, my podcast is going to be here. You can believe that. So, I'm Mr. Pagan. This has been an episode of God Content. I mean, what the fuck am I talking about? I'm Mr. Pagan. Has this been... I'm Mr. Pagan. I am Mr. Pagan. And this is an episode of God Concept. Peace.